Meghan and Harry spent time with Afghan schoolchildren on Thursday, as they visited Task Force Liberty at the Joint Base McGuire Dix Lakehurst in New Jersey. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex actively took part in a conversational English class. During their time with the children, they used markers to teach them the words for color and helped the pupils practice their English, listening to them saying sentences such as "nice to meet you." Moreover, Meghan and Harry led a rendition of the song Heads, Shoulders, Knees and Toes. Speaking to the school children, they shared this song is one of their sons' favorites as well, a spokesperson for the Sussexes said. Speaking about their day at the base, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's representative also said, they asked staff about common terms in Dari, and left every interaction with children and adults alike saying Tashakur, trademark which means thank you. Archie celebrated his second birthday in May, a month before the couple welcomed their daughter Lilibet Lili Diana. The family of four lives in Montecito, Santa Barbara, where the Sussexes moved during the summer of 2020. This isn't the first time Meghan and Harry share a few details about their son. Harry said, "My son is now over a year and a half, he is hysterical, he TMS got the most amazing personality. He TMS already putting 2-3 words together, he TMS already singing songs. His first word was crocodile trademark, 3 syllables." During the same show, Harry also said his grandmother the Queen has often seen via video call Archie following the Sussexes' relocation to the US and even sent them as a Christmas present for Archie a waffle maker which the tot deeply appreciated. In May, during the mental health series he co-created with Oprah Winfrey, The Me You Can't See, he also said, referring to his late mother Princess Diana, "I got a photo of her in his nursery, and it was one of the first words that he said apart from mama, papa, it was then grandma. Grandma Diana. It TMS the sweetest thing, but at the same time, it makes me really sad because she should be here." While at Task Force Liberty, Meghan and Harry also praised the teachers for their tireless efforts in supporting the pupils and reminded them to take care of themselves. The Duke and Duchess also spent time with women who recently arrived at the base. Task Force Liberty is currently home to 10,000 Afghan refugees who fled their homeland in recent months following the return to power of the Taliban in mid-August. They are being provided temporary housing, medical screening and education by the U.S. Department of Defense. Earlier this week, it was reported Meghan and Harry had hosted a lunch for some of the military personnel and their family living at the air base in Burlington County. This visit took place on Remembrance Day, which falls on the same day of Veterans Day in the US, which celebrates all living former service personnel for their effort. A spokesperson for Meghan and Harry said the couple met with members of all 6 branches of the US military during their visit. Their chats, the representative added, were focused on topics close to the Sussexes' heart, mental health and the importance of community. Harry marked this visit saying, "As we honor and reflect on Remembrance Day in the UK, which shares a date with Veterans Day here in the US, my hope is for all of us to continue to support the well-being and recognize the value of our troops, veterans, and the entire military and service family. We and they are better for it." Kate left royal fans moved as she sat down with 98-year-old veteran Colonel Blum and 10-year-old Emily to discuss the importance of remembrance across generations. The Duchess of Cambridge stunned in a dark green ensemble, which she completed by pinning a red remembrance poppy on her lapel. The trio met at the Royal Hospital Chelsea, where Kate learned more about Emily and Colonel Blum, who was also a scout before taking part in World War II. Kate was left visibly saddened when hearing how Colonel Blum lost a friend in conflict just 2 days before the war ended. Asked why remembrance is so important to him, he said, "I have to say I lost a few friends. One in particular I remember, he was killed a day or 2 before the war ended. That I must say affected me quite a bit. You wrote to their families to say how sorry you were to have to tell them about this." Kate asked, "This time of the year, Is it lovely for you to reflect on not only the time that you served but also on your friends and loved ones that you sadly lost? Colonel Blum simply replied, yes, very much so. The Duchess, who earlier this year became co-president of the Scout Association, was positively surprised to learn just how much Emily learned about Remembrance, the world conflicts and life in Britain during them. Kate said, "Gosh, you have done a huge amount, that's brilliant." Kate, an amateur photographer, then asked to see some of the pictures brought by Colonel Blum. She enthusiastically said, "Colonel, I'd love to see some of these photographs." Colonel Blum went on showing a portrait of himself aged 18 and another with his wife, who sadly died 18 years ago. They then looked at pictures taken during World War II showing the various roles covered by the Scouts to help Britons evacuate and look out for danger. During their chat, Emily poignantly asked Colonel Blum why he thinks remembering is so important also for children. He replied, "I think they should remember what their parents and their grandparents did, because otherwise it's gone, it's lost." Kate and Colonel Blum were later taught by Emily how to make a red remembrance poppy. Commenting on her handmade poppy, Kate said, "Emily, yours is far more beautiful than mine." Flattered, the 10-year-old replied, "Yours is really nice Asa well." Prince Charles received a warm welcome in Brixton, South London, on Thursday, when he met a few young entrepreneurs being supported by his organisation, the Prince's Trust. Among the royal fans waiting for him outside a NatWest branch in the borough, one inquired about the health condition of the Queen. The Prince of Wales promptly gave a reassuring answer, as reported by royal correspondents on the scene. Amid the noisy crowd, Prince Charles appeared to reply, "She is doing well." This comes as the Queen is understood to be resting at Windsor Castle in accordance with her doctor's advice. Concerns for Her Majesty's health state first arose on October 20, after Buckingham Palace announced the Queen had cancelled a planned 2-day trip to Northern Ireland, and was following her medical team's advice to rest for a few days. It later emerged the sovereign had spent a night at King Edward VII Hospital where she underwent preliminary tests, the nature and results of which were not disclosed. On the following week, the palace updated the public again on the Queen's health state, saying she was continuing to rest at Windsor Castle and had regretfully agreed not to take part in person in the evening reception at COP26, the ongoing climate change summit in Glasgow. However, she recorded a powerful video message for world leaders and decision-makers, urging them to rise above the politics of the moment and take significant steps for the sake of future generations. In a new update, the palace told the public the Queen would continue to perform only light at least until November 13, implying she will miss the Festival of Remembrance. However, the Queen let known she had the firm intention to take part in the National Service of Remembrance on Sunday, the most sacred duty in her royal diary as the head of the armed forces. Over the past few weeks, the monarch carried out some light-duty desk, including dealing with the government's red boxes. She also hosted a few virtual audiences while remaining at her Berkshire residence. And yesterday Her Majesty was well enough to preside over a Privy Council meeting of some of her government ministers via video link, once again from Windsor Castle. The Queen was spotted in public on a few occasions since she started her period of rest. Earlier this month, she was spotted wearing a headscarf and glasses while driving on the grounds of Windsor Castle. And last Thursday she was helicoptered to Sandringham, where she reportedly spent a long weekend visiting her estate and speaking to various members of the staff. Her visit took place after it was claimed the monarch has the intention to celebrate Christmas with her extended family in Norfolk, as the royal family has done since the 1980s with the exception of last year. Prince Charles didn't mention just the Queen during this morning's visit to London. In a meeting with magician Chris Wall, the Prince of Wales was asked to pick a name, number and colour and take part in a magic trick. And the royal named George, 12 and blue. George is the name of Charles's first grandson and third in line to the throne. But it was also the name chosen by his grandfather and great-grandfather upon acceding to the throne. Another entrepreneur met by Charles during his visit was Keisha East of No Knots Co., who spoke to the Prince about her environmental-friendly hair tools range. Charles isn't the only member of the royal family on duty today. His wife Camilla attended the opening of the 93rd Field of Remembrance at Westminster Abbey. And Sophie, Countess of Wessex, attended an armistice service and a parade in Bedworth.